Today we learn how to rationalize the denominator in radical expressions. First up, we focus on single radical denominators. We'll follow these two basic steps. We'll multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the radical in the denominator. Then we'll simplify the resulting expression. So, in our first example, the denominator is root 5. Now that is irrational. We need to make it rational, i.e. we somehow have to remove the square root. So what we do, we multiply by root 5 over root 5. Numerator multiplied by numerator is root 5. And on the bottom, root 5 multiplied by root 5 is 5. And there is our new radical expression with a rational denominator. On the right side, we follow the same steps. Let's multiply by root 8 over root 8. Again, numerator times numerator is 5 root 8. Denominator multiplied by denominator is 8. We can simplify root 8 because we know that root 8 is exactly the same as root 4 multiplied by root 2. So we'll have 5 multiplied by 2 multiplied by root 2 over 8. And we will then have 10 root 2 over 8. And we can simplify that, 5 over 4. And in our numerator, we don't forget the root 2. And there is our final simplified radical expression. In our next examples, we have a binomial radical denominator. So we'll follow these two steps. We'll multiply both the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. The conjugate is formed by changing the sign between the terms. Then we'll multiply the brackets and simplify the resulting expression. Let's try our first example. So, the conjugate is root 5 minus 2. And we do the same in the denominator. And I just keep that in brackets. 3 multiplied by root 5 is 3 root 5. 3 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 6. On the bottom, we have root 5 multiplied by root 5, which is 5. Then we have root 5 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 2 root 5. Then we have 2 multiplied by root 5 is positive 2 root 5. And lastly, we have 2 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 4. 3 root 5 minus 6 on top. On the bottom, those will cancel with each other, and we have 5 minus 4, which is 1. And of course, we simplify our fraction. And there's our final answer. Let's do the same on the right side. Multiply by the conjugate. So on the top, 7 multiplied by 4 is 28. Then we have 7 multiplied by root 2 is 7 root 2. On the bottom, 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. 4 multiplied by root 2 is positive 4 root 2. Negative root 2 multiplied by 4 is negative 4 root 2. And negative root 2 multiplied by positive root 2 is negative 2. On the top, the highest common factor is 7. I'm going to factorize the top expression. So I have 7 multiplied by 4 and 7 multiplied by root 2. So I've factorized the top expression. On the bottom, 4 root 2 cancels with negative 4 root 2, and 16 minus 2 is 14. Simplify the 7 over 14, going to have 4 plus root 2 all over 2, because I divide by 7 and I have 1, divide by 7 and I'm left with 2. This fraction and that fraction. So I will have 2 plus root 2 over 2. And there is my final answer. Progress check. Have a go yourselves, then check your answer with mine. First up, multiply by radical denominator. So, on the top we have 7 root 11, and on the bottom we have 11. And there's our final answer. Next question. Let's multiply by root 8 over root 8. 3 root 8. In our denominator, we're going to have 2 multiplied by 8. 3 root 8 over 16. With that root 8, we can simplify that further. So we're going to have 3 root 4 root 2. All of that is over 16. 3 multiplied by 2. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. And then the root 2, and all of that is over 16. Now I can simplify the 6, the red 6, and the red 16. If I divide by 2, I will have 3 root 2 on top and 8 on the bottom. On the right side, multiply by the conjugate in the top and the bottom. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. 4 multiplied by root 3 is positive 4 root 3. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 2 multiplied by root 3 is 2 root 3. Negative root 3 multiplied by 2, which is negative 2 root 3. Negative root 3 multiplied by root 3 is negative 3. 8 plus 4 root 3 on the bottom. That cancels with that, and then we have 4 minus 3, which is 1. Of course, we don't leave it as a fraction, we keep it as 8 plus 4 root 3. Last question. Multiply by the conjugate on the top and the bottom. We have 5 root 7 plus 5. Root 7 multiplied by root 7 is 7. Root 7 multiplied by positive 1 is positive root 7. Negative 1 times root 7, which is negative root 7. Negative 1 multiplied by positive 1 is negative 1. 5 root 7 plus 5. And on the bottom, the roots cancel. We have 7 minus 1, which is 6. And there is our final answer highlighted in yellow. We simply follow all those steps that we've been practicing, and that's exactly how we rationalize the denominator. Hey guys, this is Casey at Onetree. If you like the content, please remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you'd like some online tutoring, please email me at onetreemath@gmail.com. Cheers.